Today, we're going to dig into a part of the legal system that most people never see, the non-prosecution agreement. And we're going to use the Jeffrey Epstein case as our map to understand how these incredibly powerful deals work, why they even exist, and the huge impact they have on how justice is delivered.
So, this is the big question, right? How is it possible for serious federal charges to just go away without ever having a public trial? The answer is hiding in a very specific kind of legal tool, and we're about to take it apart piece by piece.
To get there, we've got a four-part roadmap. We're going to start with the indictment, then follow the winding path to an agreement, break down the deal itself, and finally, see how that deal leads straight to sentencing.
All right, let's jump right in. Part 1, the indictment sets the stage. You can think of this as the official kickoff for any big federal case.
So what in the world is an indictment? Well, it's a formal accusation from a grand jury. Now, this is super important. An indictment is not a verdict of guilt. It just means the grand jury looked at the evidence and said, yep, there's enough here to actually move forward with a case. It's basically the starting gun for the whole race.
Now, normally, an indictment starts a chain of events you've probably seen 100 times on TV. You get the indictment, then there are pretrial motions, then the big jury trial, and finally, a verdict and sentencing. But that well-known path is not the road we're on today, not even close.
So, if that's the road not taken, let's look at the alternative. Section 2, the path to an agreement. This is where we explore all the back roads that let you bypass a trial completely.
And this is where it gets absolutely wild. Just look at this number, over 90%. Let that sink in for a second. The vast majority of federal cases in the United States never make it to a jury. That big public trial we all picture, it's actually the exception, not the rule.
So how does this even happen? One of the most powerful tools they use is the non-prosecution agreement, or NPA for short. And the key words here are critical. It's a contract where prosecutors agree not to file charges. This can stop a federal case dead in its tracks before it ever even gets a case number in a courtroom.
You might be thinking, hey, wait a minute, isn't that just a plea bargain? It's a totally fair question, but they are fundamentally different, and that difference is everything. With an NPA, since no formal federal charges are filed, the person walks away with no federal conviction. A plea bargain, on the other hand, always starts with charges being filed and always ends with a conviction. That is a massive distinction, and it's why an NPA can be such a huge win for a defendant.
So why on earth would prosecutors agree to this? This quote really hits the nail on the head. For both sides, a trial is a massive gamble. For prosecutors, an NPA guarantees a specific result. Maybe it's cooperation, maybe it's fines, whatever, without the risk of losing in court. And for the defense, it gives them certainty and helps their client avoid a potentially much, much worse outcome.
Okay, so we get the what and the why. Now let's look at the how in this case. Part 3. Understanding the final deal. What were the actual terms of this resolution? The agreement had a few main pillars. First, and this is the big one, it gave federal immunity from prosecution to Epstein and any potential co-conspirators. So what did the government get in return? Well, he had to plead guilty to similar but lesser charges at the state level in Florida. The deal also made him register as a sex offender and serve a pre-arranged jail sentence. It was a really complex deal that essentially just punted the whole case out of the federal system.
And the single most important result of this agreement getting signed, the federal investigation, was over. Done. Finished. The door on the federal case was slammed shut. But the agreement wasn't just the end. It was also a script for exactly what was going to happen next. And that's what we'll look at in our final section, from agreement to sentencing.
This funnel is the perfect way to picture how this all works. You start at the top. It's really broad. An indictment could lead anywhere. Then, as the legal teams negotiate, the possibilities narrow. The NPA is the tightest point of that funnel. It locks in a single predetermined path, and that path leads directly to the end they already agreed on, the state plea and the specific sentence. All the uncertainty and drama of a trial, it's just completely eliminated.
So why are we getting so deep in the weeds on this one agreement? Because if you want to understand how justice really works today, you have to understand NPAs. They are an incredibly powerful and, yes, often very controversial tool that's used to end some of the biggest and most complicated cases, usually far away from the public eye.
So, if you only take away 3 things from all this, make it these. First, that courtroom drama we see in movies, it's rare. Most federal cases end with a deal. Second, non-prosecution agreements are one of the main ways cases get resolved before charges are even formally filed. And finally,
These agreements are everything. They script the final outcome of a case right down to the last detail.
And that brings us all the way back to a really fundamental question, one that sits at the very heart of this whole thing. An NPA is a tool, and like any tool, its impact all depends on how it's used. And so it leaves us to ask ourselves, when do legal agreements like this serve justice, and when might they actually get in its way?